Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. We're back in the shop, of course. James Brown is all done. Took her for a nice little drive today to go, get fresh. Shout out to my barber Game 7 studio in Marietta. That's my boy James, man. He's been my barber probably for about 3 years now. He also owns 2B Bodies, so shout out to you, bro. I know you watching. Anytime I come in the shop, we talk about the videos and stuff. One of my biggest supporters, man. So keep me fresh. I know I be looking crazy. I just don't be going. So took James Brown for a little shakedown. To go get a haircut. Drove him back. He drove beautiful, nice and smooth, no problem. So he's ready to go home. So now we back on this thing. Where I left off the video, I was getting ready to start ripping out the old wiring out of this thing. So that's where we're gonna pick up. So hopefully in this video, I hope to accomplish getting all the old wiring out. We'll get the speakers, the new speaker pods mounted in the doors. We'll get the rear deck speakers installed. We'll get the new rear deck cover installed. So that's done and wrapped. And then we'll start running the new wires for the power, and really that's it. I'll just run the power wire separate because the RCAs and the 9-wire, which I found some, I meant to go buy some, but I ended up having some extra on the bench here, and I meant to show you guys what that was. All right, so this is 9-wire. So basically you got all your speaker outputs. So you got 4 speakers. So you got your power and ground to the 4 speakers, and then you have this blue wire, which is your remote turn on. And it's encased in this thing, so you just have to run one wire, basically, but it's 9 wires inside of it. And I'll show you how you use this and how I use it when I hook up sound systems. There's a couple different ways people install sound systems in these cars that I've noticed, from taking them apart and redoing them. And it's the easiest way to do it, especially if you're not running like super big power. Like now, if you're running like 4/8s in the door and horns and tweeters and all that, then 9-wire is not for you. You're gonna have to run new thicker wires to your doors and run them all the way back to the amps and stuff like that. But what this is kind of a shortcut, easier way to do it. And the way that I build my amp rack, and that's why I said I'm only gonna run the power wire for now on the driver's side of the car, or no, I'm actually gonna run the passenger side. I run the power on the passenger side, is because when I build the amp rack, I cover it, and well, you guys will see. So maybe in this video we may also cover the amp rack. If not, we'll save it for the next video. Not quite sure how far we'll get. So let me start ripping up the side panels here so we can get all this old wiring out. All right, so we got everything broken down. This is how I break my cars down when I'm doing a full sound system. I take all the rails out of on the sides. We take the B pillars out, so we can run the wiring. Instead of running it in this channel right here, we can run it down and closer to the seat, and then that way you don't have a big bulge sticking up right here. So you got to take all this apart so you can get it on the other side of the seatbelt bolts right here. So you want to get that, you want to get your wiring down behind that. Did that on both sides. We did have a little hiccup though, because I need to get the top portion of the back seat out, but it looks like somebody's already been in here and they stripped the hell out of the seatbelt bolt. So if you can see that, oh, lights in the way. Let's see. There we go. So it's stripped. Looks like somebody was in here trying to drill it out already. So I'll come back to that. I don't really need to get it out right this second. Attack with that is either going to be to get a bigger hex bolt. It's normally a T50 or 47, so I'm going to try a 55 maybe to try to get it out. But I just got to that, and so once I get that out, we'll take the top portion of the back seat out, and then we'll start ripping all the wiring out, starting from under the hood all the way through, pile it all up, and then I'll probably go ahead and start putting the speakers in so I can get these door panels back on. Because they're just kind of hanging out right now, and really once I get them on, get the speakers in, I can get those door panels out the way. Then we'll get the rear speakers in, so we can get all the rear stuff put back in, the speaker covers, the C-pillars, and then we can put the rear deck in. And then we'll start running our new wiring. So we got our 9-wire here, got our 9-wire, and then we've got one set of RCAs here. I got 2 more sets around here somewhere. All right, here's another set, and then I got another set right here. So we got 3 sets of RCAs. These are really nice too. Look at these things. So I'll probably make these for the speakers. That's the easy way to differentiate. So we'll just make these for the subs, and then we'll use the 2 Fosgate ones for the highs. And then we got assorted connectors, heat shrink, which is really cool. This is the remote wire. We won't need that. And then we got our main power and ground. Look at that. That is fancy. Gold terminals. Yeah, that's some good wire. Like, normally you see, like, you know, a lot more sheathing and not enough wire, but this is good. And this is copper, so auction OFC wire, not CCA. So this is good wire. It's got some good weight to it, so I think this will be plenty for what we're trying to do. So let me start pulling out the wiring. We gotta disconnect some stuff in the trunk because it's kind of zip tied, and it's got the split loom on it. So we'll get all that off. We'll get all the wiring out because, like I said, we don't want to reuse any of that old wiring. Based on the equipment that was in this car, there's no telling how old that wiring is, and if we're gonna put all this new power and all this new sounds and all this stuff, why reuse that old wiring? Sheesh. Some more old school equipment. Phoenix Gold professional line driver. This is stuffed up under the dash. So we got all that old wiring out, old RCAs, which will probably still work, still in good condition, but out with the old, in with the new. And then in the midst of taking all this out, I forgot I gotta solder in the new plug and all that. But again, I can do that later. So I think what we're gonna move on to now we got the old wiring out, we're gonna go ahead and put the new speakers in the doors, get the door panels back on, get that together, get the speakers in the rear, get that back together. Then we will get the radio. Well, then we'll start on the amp rack because I kind of want to get that in the video, show you guys how I make them. So we'll do the amp rack, we'll measure and see how we're gonna put it. I think I'm gonna put it up against the back there, kind of like on display. We'll route the wiring really nice and pretty and make it look really, really, really nice. So I think that's what we'll do. So let me get these speakers in. I got to go grab the little pods that we got from Ivan, and we'll unbox these 4x6 Fosgates, get them in there, get them wired up, and then we still got the wood right here. We'll go ahead and cut it to length. We'll wrap it with some nice black carpet and start mounting our amps and routing our wires. And like I said, when I do the wiring, I start from the back and I go forward when it comes to the RCAs, the signals and stuff like that. The only thing that will come from the front to back, or I mean, I could do the power cable like that too, actually. Actually, I will do that. Actually, no, it doesn't matter because I use the distribution block, and I'll show you guys what I mean when we get there. So let me go ahead and get these speaker pods in there so we can get these speakers together, get these door panels on. All right, well, speakers in, mounted, looks good. So I had to, I started trimming this a little bit, try to fit the speaker, and then I realized I didn't have to do that. So it was able to fit. I just had it the wrong angle. So, you know, you live and you learn. But you won't be able to see this, so I'm not too worried about it. It doesn't look great, but I'm not about to go all the way to Ivan's just to replace this. Because really all we really needed was the mounting surface, and there's still plenty of real estate on there to mount it. So we'll go ahead and get the other side done, and then we'll move on to the rear speakers, and then I thought about it. We'll move on to the rear speakers, and then I am going to leave the door panels off because I don't want to put everything back together until we're completely done and we know that these work, their polarity's right, and all that good stuff. So I'm still going to go ahead and put all the speakers in, and I think we will wire up that over there, take care of that mess over there, and then we'll work on the amp rack. So 6x9s are in. I got them wired up in the trunk. All the wiring's done back there. And this is the old rear deck, and I kind of had an idea. So this is the old rear deck that was in the car, and I was like, you know what? There's a big hole there, you know, for a port. So I got some of this leftover grill stuff. So I'm thinking, what if I put the grill stuff, you know, under there, and maybe put an LED or something and make it light up. I don't know. Never done it before, you know, but I always like to find new ways to be creative. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna cut this to fit, this out the way. Yeah, so I'm gonna cut this to fit in here, because there's wood here, so I can just screw it right to it. And then right on the sides here, I can put, I can glue some LEDs around it and it'll light up, maybe red. You know, he didn't ask for that, but I mean, I like to challenge myself and try new things. So I'm gonna try it and see how it works out. I mean, if it doesn't work, whatever, we'll just put I got a factory one that I can just throw on there. So, but it's worth a shot, why not? So let me try it and see where we get. I don't know, bro, this kind of fire. So I got it in there, it's bolted down. I think it looks pretty nice. So I'm gonna go look at my stash of parts, and I'm pretty sure I have some red LEDs. If not, if I can't find those, then I'll just put black behind it. But I think it'll be dark enough to where it'll be, you know, it'll look really nice. So I'm gonna mess with it some more and see what I come up with once I actually put it in the car. Let me check back with y'all in a second. Look at me getting on the algorithm. They recommended my own stuff to me. That's what's up. All right, got this thing in. I actually like the way it looks. I need to get some something to put underneath it. But I actually like it. It actually looks really nice. So I'm probably just gonna leave this like this. And I think the customer is gonna like it because that looks custom. I mean, technically it is. I just didn't do it, but even from back here, once the grills are on, I think that looks really good. So I'm gonna send that. Let me go ahead and get started on this amp rack. I need to measure the space between there, and then we'll mount the amp rack there. We'll wrap it with some fabric I have, and then we'll mount it there. Then we'll get started on mounting the amps. So we'll measure and cut. Well, actually, you know what? Let's see. What if this is like the right size right off rip? Ooh, almost. Almost. Look at that. Almost. So we'll cut a little bit off of that. Actually, you know what? I can just mark it and just eyeball it. Let's see. Perfect. All right, so we'll mount the amps like this. So it'll go like that. Perfect. All right, let's wrap it. sub amp. Bass knob. 4-channel highs amp. All right, so kind of give you an idea of what I got going on here. So I kind of run, like I said, all the signal wires over to the driver's side of the car. So they'll come out this side and go up the driver's side of the car. And then we're gonna run all the power to the passenger side. Seeing as how the power wire is gonna come down the passenger side, we'll run the power and grounds this way. So we'll come out here, ground and battery this way, ground and battery this way. And then I just need to extend the remote wire to turn both amps on at the same time. I actually forgot all about that, so I need to do that now. But what I'll do, I'll just run a second wire out of here into this one, and then we'll get some clamps, and then we'll have this all down real nice and neat and clean. I may actually cover it with some wire loom, so you really, all you really see is this. And to achieve this type of look here, you gotta stagger them. So I start with the longest one, and then I cut this one a little bit shorter, move on to the next one, cut a little bit shorter, and then that's gonna be the shortest one. So if I undo all these, they'll be different lengths. That way it kind of flows kind of nicely. So it kind of, looks really nice coming out of there. And so that's what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the power side set up. We'll have a power and ground distribution blocks mounted over here. So we'll have both the power and the ground coming out of the amps together into 2 power distribution blocks, and then we'll have a main power and ground. We'll just have one power wire run from the front into there, and we'll have one main ground into there. Super simple. All right, y'all, this is where we at so far. So I couldn't find any oh crap, I don't want to step on that because I'm gonna need that. I couldn't find any black copper ground cable, so I didn't want to use the blue, so I used some split loom that I had to wrap it in black to kind of keep the color scheme. But a lot of this is going to be covered up anyway I have a thicker split loom that's going to go around it, but just to give you an idea of how everything's going to lay, we'll start clamping stuff down and getting it laid out really nice. So that's kind of where we're at. And then we got the 2 distribution blocks here. They'll just come off right here, and then we'll have 1 power, 1 ground going right into those. And that'll be it. Had to move it up a little bit to give it a little bit more room on the bottom. And like I said, once I get it all loomed up, it's going to look really, really nice. Nice and clean and tucked. And he's really going to like it. So this is where we're at. So we'll see where we get to tonight. And, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to get sound tonight because I've still got to run everything up into the car. But I want to at least get this part, almost done.